Another star returns to LA, preseason action, and Brian Ching faces his former team. Next on The Daily. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of The Daily here with Greg Lawless. I'm Nick Fershaw, and Greg, let's start with the big news out west. The LA Galaxy getting some good news about Juninho, their holding midfielder from the 2011 season. Really a breakout year for him. He's back in 2012. Some great news for the Galaxy. Yeah,
especially considering that he went away in the offseason. It looked like he was headed back to Brazil. He went back down to Sao Paulo, and he signed a 3-year deal with them. Now he's coming back to the Galaxy on loan. He was such an important cog for them in the midfield. Everything he did, from just covering all the ground in behind Landon Donovan or David Beckham, did a lot of defensive work in the midfield there, and also wasn't afraid to get forward. Remember a couple of those sort of long-range bombs that he put in the upper 90 for the Galaxy to get some goals there. The other news, his countryman Leonardo signing on full-time now with the Galaxy. He moves on a free transfer to LA. Juninho still another loan, though, from Sao Paulo.
Remember Leonardo, really a promising center back for the Galaxy before he suffered an injury early in the 2011 season. But again, you mentioned it, Juninho, an underrated star for the LA Galaxy, really. The LA Galaxy were in preseason action on Tuesday. A 4-1 loss to the Portland Timbers. The star in this one, Bright DK, the Timber star, who had an injury of his own, an Achilles injury. Back now, he got a goal in a 4-1 win for the Timbers. Moving on to some other preseason action down in Arizona. The Colorado Rapids with a 1-0 win over Chivas USA. Results maybe don't matter necessarily here in preseason, but what we're seeing with the Colorado Rapids, maybe a new 4-3-3 system under Oscar Pareja. Our own Matt Doyle was down there covering the team, said it looks good with that new system.
Yeah, and it's Jeff Lorenowitz in the middle who's sort of pulling all the strings from the midfield, and also Quincy Amarikwa, who got the winning goal late in this game, out wide where he can use his speed. But I go back to Lorenowitz, because really, if this midfield, this 3-man midfield is really going to work, he is the fulcrum in there. He's been the engine for them for several years now. We saw him do it several years in New England. Now he's got even more responsibility as the main man in the middle of the 3-man midfield.
And you wonder if they can get that lineup healthy. They get Omar Cummings healthy, and they get Connor Casey back. Pablo Mastroeni also in a more advanced role further up the field than he's been in the past for the Colorado Rapids. Moving down to Mexico, where the New York Red Bulls were in action on Tuesday against FC Dallas, and a 2-0 preseason win for the Red Bulls. One of the heroes in this one, none other than Kenny Cooper, the former FC Dallas striker and the brand new guy with the New York Red Bulls. Corey Herzog adds one late for the Red Bulls, but Kenny Cooper.
Yeah, an old face, obviously, for FC Dallas fans. He comes back and haunts them, and it's just a preseason game. But if Kenny Cooper is the kind of guy who can get on a hot streak, and if he does, this looks very good for New York. If he's healthy, if he's being played the right way, you got to put it into his feet, let him turn, let him run at people. Don't expect him to be a huge, massive target man all the time. You've got to let him run at defenders. And if he can do that, he can be very effective for this New York team, especially we don't know what's going on with Thierry Henry right now. So Henry expected back later on in the month, although there's talk that he might be extending his loan with Arsenal, and you never know about injuries. If Kenny Cooper stays healthy, he could be vital for them in 2012, I should say.
And another storyline in this one, Greg, Ryan Mira and Jeremy Volo, the brand new goalkeepers for the Red Bulls, combining for a shutout. Yeah, it's preseason, but that's got to be a good sign for them.
It's a good sign, but let's be honest here, right? These are young guys. They're not very tested in the pro ranks. So this is going to be the issue for the New York Red Bulls yet again this year. It's all going to be about goalkeeping. Are they going to be strong enough in the goal and not make the mistakes that they've had over the last couple of years where they can really compete for the conference title and then into the playoffs for the cup?
Well, let us know what you think about the New York Red Bulls and how they might do in goal this year. You can post your comments right below this video, and make sure you subscribe. You can get all the videos from MLSsoccer.com. Click right here. And looking forward to some preseason action on Wednesday, Greg. Perhaps no bigger headline than Brian Ching of the Montreal Impact. Doesn't quite sound right yet, but he's going up against the Houston Dynamo. It's preseason again, but it's Brian Ching against his former team.
The FC Dallas took on New York and Kenny Cooper, right? Now it's Brian Ching. This is the talk of the offseason, really, has been Brian Ching to the Montreal Impact, what that means, whether Ching would be traded back to the Dynamo. Here they get their first look at each other on the field. It's a preseason. We've said that. We get it. It's a scrimmage. It's a friendly, if you will. But what if Brian Ching comes out there and knocks in 3 goals in a preseason game? You know he's going to be up for this one. So this, I think it's a big moment for Brian Ching just to really put a stamp on his arrival in Montreal, especially against the Dynamo.
And you have to imagine, as strange as it was for Brian Ching to don that Montreal Impact jersey, it's going to be a little interesting for Dom Kinnear and some of those guys to look across the field at Brian Ching in a different jersey. But that does it for us. You can log on to MLSsoccer.com for complete coverage of the preseason and all the latest headlines. We'll be back with another edition of The Daily tomorrow.